Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time this video gets to you. You're welcome to our today's lecture on chemistry. And we have a question on the board. The question says, distinguish between an element, a mixture, and a compound, providing at least two examples of each. Explain the differences in their composition, properties, and separation methods. Alright, this question has to do with element, mixture, and compound. An element, mixture, and compound, these are the classification of matter. We have the states of matter, we have the component of matter, and we have the classification of matter. So if you talk about the state of matter, you start talking about solid, liquid, gaseous state, even plasma state. Then if you talk about the composition, you start talking about atom, ions, and the mainly atoms and ions, then molecules. But here is when you talk of elements, compound, and mixture, we talk about what? Classification of what? Matter. So matters are classified into elements, a mixture, and a compound. So the question says we should distinguish between an element, a mixture, and a compound. So I will start by way of defining them to compare them. So when you talk about what element is just a pure substance. An element is a pure substance that it cannot further be divided into simpler units, simpler from just a pure substance. And an element is composed of one type of atom, just a type of atom. And if you go down and start going into element, you start seeing things like metals, non-metals, and the metalloids, and what have you. So the basic thing there is that an element is the what? It is indivisible part of a substance. So that is the smallest, even though yes, if you go down, start looking at the atoms and ions, we're not going to that level, but basically you cannot, this is the smallest unit used by virtue of ordinary chemical cannot be breaking down further using ordinary chemical processes. So that's what an element is. An element is a pure substance composed of one type of atom. What of an example of elements? You see, we should do at least two examples. An example of an element is what? You have your under metals. You have your sodium, calcium, and what have you. There are many of them. Non-metals, you have seen things like oxygen, chlorine. Now, then what of a mixture? A mixture is a physical blend. It's a physical blend of two or more substances. A substance can be elements, it can be compound. But one thing in that blend is that they are not chemically bonded. They are just together. There's no chemical bond between them. Because there's no chemical bond between them, they can easily be separated using ordinary physical means. Ordinary separation techniques can separate the constituents of a mixture. An example of a mixture is, unlike element that is pure, a mixture is not a pure substance. Please note that. A mixture is not a pure substance. An example of a mixture, you see seawater. Seawater is composed of a lot of things. The sodium chloride is there, salt is there, sodium chloride is there, magnesium salt is there, and other debris and other things that are involved in it. present in the seawater. Flood is a mixture. Flood, there are a lot of things in flood. Soil is a mixture. Soil, there's sand in there. There are other organic matters there. They make up for soil. So soil is a mixture. Sodium chloride solution is a mixture of sodium chloride, which is a compound, which is a pure substance, and water. So these are examples of what? Mixture. And they can easily be separated. Just get the sodium chloride solution, salt solution, put in a petri dish and heat it. The water will go, evaporation will take place. So you using an evaporation, you can separate, get your sodium chloride, and water will go. And there are other means you can with which you can do what? Separate what? A mixture. Get a sand, put it in water. The sand will not dissolve, but you can separate it. But if you filter it, the sand will come out, the water will go easy. If you heat itself, the water will go because the sand will not dissolve. Will not melt, sorry. Alright, so this is what we mean by what? A mixture. Now, what of a compound? A compound is a chemical blend of two or more substances, which can be elements, it can also be what? Compound. So it is a chemical blend. So there's a chemical bond in the formation of a what? A compound. So when two or more elements or compound come together to form another compound, they form an entirely different substance. In comparison with mixture and elements, a compound is pure, is a pure substance, or a mixture is not a pure substance. Element is a pure substance. A compound contains two or more other elements. An element just one. An element has the same type of atom, but a compound has different what? Atoms of elements coming together. Now, then a compound, because it formed a entirely new substance, they are chemically bound together. It cannot be separated using ordinary physical what? Separation techniques, as we saw in a mixture. It cannot be easily. It cannot be separated using ordinary physical distance, except using chemical means, like electrolysis. Can separate and other chemical reactions. So a compound is pure, impure, pure. New substance is formed there. There's no new substance formed. In fact, in a mixture, all the constituents in that mixture, they retain their physical properties. Get iron filings, mix it with sand. Get a bar magnet, place it across it. The iron filing will not say, because I am with sand, let me stay. No, it has no business with the sand because they are not chemically bound. So the iron filings will just go and follow the what? The bar magnets. So they retain their what? Individual what? Properties. Now, but in the compound, there's no. The property of the compound, what is formed, is different from that of the what? Elements that come together, a compound that come together to form that particular compound. So these are the little what difference between the three of them. In terms of the example of a compound, very important. In a compound, the substance, the component, we call it component here, or component element are combined in a fixed ratio. But in a mixture, they are not combined in a fixed ratio, just anyhow. There's no ratio. For example, now water, H2O. In water, hydrogen and oxygen combine in ratio of 2:1. Anywhere you get water from, no matter the source, be it from the gutter, be it from rain, be it from borehole, anywhere you get water, so far it's water, Hydrogen and oxygen must be combined in ratio of 2:1. So it's a fixed what? That's a fixed what? Ratio of combination of component what? Elements. But for mixture, the constituents are just, there's no fixed composition. So they vary. It varies. So water is a compound. Sodium chloride is a compound too. Sodium chloride is a compound. Sodium chloride is a compound. Sodium and chlorine, or chloride ion as this may be, depending. It's a solution, sodium ion and chloride ion. So these are the differences between them and the examples. Now, the next one said, explain the differences in their composition, properties, and separation. I have already said everything, but let me just say one or two things again. I may say repeat what I've said before. In answering this question, the composition, in terms of composition, how can you compare them in terms of composition? This element is composed of just one what type of atom. But a mixture can be a combination of elements, compound mixed together. But they're not chemically what? Bound together. Why compound? Compound contains what? Two or more elements, or even compound that are chemically bound, as you can see here. And they are bound in a fixed what? Ratio, irrespective of the source of that what? Compound. Okay. So in terms of their what? Properties. Each element has its own unique property. Sodium has its own unique property. Chlorine has its own unique property. So each of them has their own unique property. Even though in terms of their classification as metals, non-metals, metalloid, each of them under the types of what? Elements have their own similarities. But beside that, they also have their unique properties. Of course, you know that one. Metals, they are what? Positive elements. Non-metals are electronegative what? Elements. So let us not go deep into that. Okay, now for mixture, the property of the mixture is nothing but the property of the constituent substances, all the substances, property of each individual. A mixture exhibits properties of the individual constituents. That's all, because they retain their what? Properties. Yes. So what of a compound? A compound, once a compound is formed, the property is different from the properties of the individual component what? Element. Look at this. Properties of water is different from properties of what? Hydrogen and properties of what? Oxygen. Properties of sodium chloride is different from properties of sodium and properties of what? Chlorine. So in terms of, let's look at separation methods. Elements, they are nothing to separate in elements. So they are nothing to separate in what? Elements. Next, we are going down into what? Nuclear chemistry, radioactivity, and start bombarding the atom and other things. But basically, using ordinary chemical medicine, there's nothing to separate when it comes to elements. But a mixture the constituent can easily be separated using ordinary separation techniques: sublimation, evaporation, chromatography, and what have you. But a compound cannot be separated using these physical methods, separation techniques I mentioned, like sublimation, chromatography. You cannot separate a compound with that. Okay, a compound can only be split or separated using chemical means like electrolysis. I think I mentioned this, electrolysis, and other chemical reactions. So with this, I think I've done justice with this question, and I believe I have refreshed your memory. If you have learned it before, if you don't, or if you are still confused about this question, this element mixture and compound. I believe I've been able to, explain things that will make you to understand this. If you go back to study it again, it will enter well. And please share these lectures, share these videos. Someone out there may be in need of this. Someone out there may be in need of this. See you next time we come. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel name is Chetanna TV. Chetanna TV. Chetanna TV. Chetanna TV. That's my YouTube channel. It's also my Facebook channel. I am in almost all the popular social media platform at Chetanna TV. Here, there you see clips of other things I do, not just lectures alone. But if you want to get the full lectures and full or whatever I do, you go to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, Chetanna TV. So share with your friends and invite them to join so as to help each other to grow academically. And also, if you go to my YouTube channel, just go to the playlist, you see all these subject courses categorized. So anyone you're interested, if you want to go to chemistry, if you want to study chemistry, you click on chemistry, you see all my lectures so far in chemistry. Anyone, if you want to look at mathematics, is there, English is there, physics is there. God will bless you as you do so. Please like, comment, and share. If you have any question, we are open for consultancy services. If you have any question or anything you want us to discuss, please chat me up on WhatsApp 081 3868 2003. I said WhatsApp. Thank you very much for your attention. See you next time.